Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we share ideas, hacks, and insights about how to be happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. This week is a very special episode. Yes, every 10th episode is a very special episode. This is episode 390, and we are here to talk about ideas to make work life happier. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, human nature, the five senses. Usually I'm in New York City, but today I am in beautiful Montana. And joining me today from LA is my sister, Elizabeth Kraft.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And Gretchen, I love where you are in Montana. I have been there with you.
You've been there with me. This is not the most beautiful background. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that I am not displaying the beauties of Montana in my background because I'm having to set up my screen properly. But yeah, we are about an hour outside of Livingston, Montana. We come here every year with my in-laws. My father-in-law and Jamie love to fish. And so we're having a great time.
Yay.
And Elizabeth, before we launch into ideas for how to be happier at work, we got a great suggestion for a way to celebrate a milestone birthday, which was a question that a listener asked a few weeks ago.
Yes, this comes from Kelly. She says, my birthday happens to be Valentine's Day, so I took the opportunity to commemorate my 50th birthday by sending out 50 Valentines to people that have meant the most in my life. I went all the way back to people I could remember throughout my 50 years. Some were a real surprise to them and to me. It was a great reflection and an opportunity to let those that have impacted my life know how much I appreciate them. It was my favorite gift that I received for my 50th birthday, and I gave it to myself. What a lovely idea.
Yeah, it's a gratitude practice. It's a happiness booster. It's a way to mark a milestone. And it makes so many other people happy too. It's a great idea.
Yes.
And now for the very special episode. Now, as we've done for the last several years, we are reminding people to use Labor Day as a catalyst to think about their work life. In the United States, we celebrate Labor Day every year, kind of in early September. And we're always talking about looking for catalysts for reflection, whether it's your birthday or it's New Year's Eve, or you think about your financial life on April 1st, because that's 401k day, whatever you're going to do. And so we can use Labor Day as a catalyst to reflect on labor, on our work life, however we might define work. Some people work for pay, some people work for free, some people work at home, some people work outside. But we thought, given that work in one way or another makes such a difference in our happiness, we wanted to take this very special episode to think about hacks, ideas, strategies, resources to make work life happier.
Yes. So Gretch, let's start with our hacks. I know you have several good ones.
Yes. Okay. So the first is to identify the problem. Because what I found is that sometimes I don't even realize I'm experiencing a problem until I see a solution, or I'll notice something and I'll finally think, wow, I could Google that and see if there is an answer. So for instance, with my headphones, so I'm traveling now, but usually I'm in my home office, and I was really bothered by my headphones for two reasons. One is that I didn't have a place to put them. They were just kind of like flopping around, and the cord was short. And so I was very tethered to my desk if I had my headphones in. And a while back, I realized, hey, there's this hook that you can get. So you can put a hook on like a desk or a shelf, or I have like a little side table, and you could just create a little hook, very handy hook for your headphones. And I also got an extension cord for my headphones. So now I can walk all around my office and still have my headphones on, which sounds like a small thing, but actually ends up making my life just feel a lot easier and more convenient.
I love that. I need one of those hooks. I need to order one of those.
Yes, you will love it. It's great. So I've done a while ago. This is a brand new hack so I work with Lindsay, and I was telling Lindsay about how much I love 3 monitors. And that's kind of side hack, which is if you're an information worker, have 3 monitors. I love my 3 monitors. Or maybe you have one of those giant monitors that you can divide in. I've never used that, where you divide it into kind of subparts. So I have 3 monitors. And I was saying to Lindsay, I love having 3 monitors so much. It makes my work life so much easier that now I kind of hate to be on my laptop. I used to always be on the go. I would take my laptop anywhere and work there. But now I really miss my 3 monitors, especially when I'm traveling and I'm using it day after day. And she said, oh, well, there's this gizmo that you can get that you can put onto your laptop that will allow you to extend 3 small screens. And I was like, Oh my gosh, I have to get that. It's called I don't know how to pronounce it, like the Xebec or the Xbec, Xebec tri-screen. I had to have a little help figuring out exactly how to attach all the wires properly. But this is fantastic. In the show notes, I will post a picture of what it looks like. It is so cunning. It's so easy to stick in a suitcase. It's light, it's small. And once you know how to set it up, it's very quick. And for the kind of edit, I mean, Elizabeth, I'm sure you're kind of the same. Like I can have my document open, my edits open, my thesaurus open, my email open, whatever. And so being able to have these 3 screens sort of on the go is transforming my work life. I have only used it twice, but I know that I'm going to use it a lot in the next years.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have never heard of that until you mentioned it. Definitely post a picture of that, Gretchen.
Yes.
Because I can't quite imagine what it looks like.
Well, I have it here in Montana, and Eliza, Eleanor, and Jamie were all like, wait, what is that? You look so cool. So I'll post a picture.
Love it.
Okay, another thing that I want to mention that I'm using right now is, speaking of headphones. So when we're doing a podcast recording, I use the big over-the-ear headphones that we usually have. And when I'm walking around my house or whatever, going for a walk, I usually use AirPods, wireless AirPods. But here's the thing I would say, even if you usually use wireless AirPods, it's handy to have a wired set like the ones that I'm wearing right now. The kind that actually plug into your phone or plug into a laptop or a desktop so that you're wired. Because what I found is that sometimes my AirPods run out of charge just when I so desperately need them for some reason. And it's nice to have something that doesn't have to be charged. And sometimes you'll be talking to somebody or doing something when they're like, it just works better if you're wired up than if you're using it wirelessly, or for whatever reason they don't connect. And because when I got my wireless ones, I thought, well, I won't need wired ever again because I like wireless better. But actually, I find that the wireless ones are just as important. And I have this like cunning little bag that I just stick in my backpack and I take them with me everywhere. I have my dongle. Elizabeth, I know you're going to talk about the dongle so that you can connect it wherever you want.
Yeah. Gretch, sometimes you want to just have like everything you could possibly need of something to have the wireless and the wired because you just never know.
Yeah. A little redundancy in your system, a little bit of different technology options in this day and age often help. But speaking of having something in my backpack and being on the ready, I think my 22 for 22 list, I said that I wanted to buy a bigger backpack. And this thing has been amazing. I didn't realize how much more convenient life would be if when I was traveling, I could just put in 3 books and a hat. And I could just put so much stuff in the backpack. I'm surprised by how much more convenient it is because I always thought, well, keep a smaller backpack so I don't overstuff it. But this has actually been great.
Yeah, your old backpack, Gretch, I do remember being noticeably smaller than many backpacks and being absolutely stuffed. I mean, you would try to fit as much in there as you possibly could.
Yes.
And then, of course, if it's like that, you have to take everything out to get to something. So it's much easier if it's a little roomier.
No, it is. It's much easier. And then the last thing, Elizabeth, okay, I'm going to grab mine right now. We've talked about it before. You have one. I have one. Mom has one. I just gave my mother-in-law Judy one. She loves it. It's the Bandolier. It's the thing that if you're on YouTube, I'm showing it and I'll post a photograph in the show notes. It's a thing that allows you to put a strap on your smartphone so you can wear it around your neck. And so you have to embrace the idea that you're the kind of person that wears a phone around your neck, but especially when you're traveling and you're worried that you're going to leave it in an airport or leave it in a car. If you've got your hands full, it's just there. You want to look something up, you could just look it up in a flash. It's right there.
Yes.
I love the Bandolier.
Game changer, Gretch. Game changer.
Couldn't
live without this.
Yes, yes, yes.
And Gretchen, haven't you created something for listeners about how to work happier?
Yes, yes. My last hack is to try using my Work Happier free 7-day SMS challenge. This is to help you get in the habit of working happier. I have several SMS challenges, and this one has proved to be the most popular, so people seem to really like it.
Oh.
If you're interested, you can text Work Happier, that's one word, to 1-844-934-1913. And of course, I'll put all that information in the show notes for episode 390, HappierCast 390. But people really do seem to be finding that to be a helpful hack.
Okay, coming up, I'm going to share a few of my work hacks. But first, this break.
Okay, Alyssa, now you're going to share your hacks, tips, suggestions. And I know the first one is a big one.
Yes. So, Gretchen, we have talked about this on the podcast many times, but we couldn't possibly have an episode about work hacks without talking about my treadmill desk.
Yay!
Okay, you gave me this. This was the most amazing gift of all time. You gave me a treadmill desk. And I have to tell you, I mean, it was years ago, right? Probably at least 10 years ago, maybe I've had this.
Yeah, I think so.
And I have the same one. Okay, it's still going. I did have it serviced a few months ago. I will tell you what kind it is, and then we can talk about it. It's a Lifespan TR 1200 DT. So Lifespan is the brand. And it allows me, as just as it sounds like, to walk and be using a desk at the same time. And I use it, I mean, working at home, I use it all the time because we are on so many Zooms. And it really helps when you have to Zoom to also be walking. You're walking and talking. And you would think that the sound of the treadmill might be a problem, but nobody ever complains about it. So I think the sound is really not an issue. What's nice is Sarah has one as well. So it's kind of we're known as the people who are walking during meetings. And it's so great because you get in your steps, that blood flow helps you think. It alleviates some of the sheer boredom of being on Zoom. I cannot say enough about how much I love my treadmill desk.
Well, I have to say that this is the most successful gift that I have ever given in my life. So I get immense satisfaction in your satisfaction in it. It was funny because I had to ask your permission. Like a treadmill desk is such a huge, it's like giving someone a puppy. You can't spring it on them. And what was funny is, so I said, I would like to give you this. Will you accept it? You thought about it, then you said yes, then you told Sarah, and Sarah was like, okay, I'm in. And she got one too, like sight unseen. You both just
like
embraced
same
it.
day, yeah.
And one of the things that I love is in the Happier in Hollywood podcast, like the first segment, the most recurring segment is from the treadmill desks up. Because it's become like your signature thing for the two of you.
Yes, yes.
And I so want one. But my office is so tiny that I've thought about all different things that you can sort of fake it, and there's really no way. But one day I hope that I will have an office and I will join you on the treadmill desk.
Someday you will, I have no doubt. I see it in your future, Gretch.
Well, a treadmill desk is really big. What do you have that's smaller?
Okay, here's a small hack, and this is something you mentioned in the first segment. A dongle, which is a crazy word, but what it does, and I've just recently found out about this through you and Chuck, is it connects an iPhone to wired headphones. So if you have a new iPhone, it doesn't have like the round hole to put in wired headphones, so you could only use the AirPods. But sometimes, as you said, Gretch, you need a wired headphone. So it's such a tiny thing. It's funny. It's so tiny. They come in 2 or 3 packs, which makes sense because they're easy to lose. So I finally ordered one. So I've got that. I have a vacation coming up and I have such comfort knowing, okay, I'm going to have my dongle. I'll take my headphones if I need to record something unexpectedly, because there's always something to record, Gretch.
Yep.
I will be able to. So that's my hack. And they're not expensive. I think under $15, let's say. And then, Gretch, I also have a hack from our friend Rashid Newson, and he is on Happier in Hollywood talking about his new book, My Government Means to Kill Me, in an upcoming episode. But he had a hack, which I just loved, which is if you're on a Zoom call and you are worried that you might be too reactive, which is something very common for television writers and probably for other businesses as well. What he does is he minimizes the Zoom call and puts himself on mute, and sometimes even pulls up a document to kind of be looking at an email or something he's working on so that he's not overly paying attention. And then if he wants to react to something someone says, he has to take the time to quit paying attention to his document, bring up the Zoom screen and unmute himself. And he said often by the time he goes through that process, the need to say something goes away. And it's very often the case for TV writers that you're better off saying nothing. So for us, this is a great hack. Usually, if you just say nothing, the problem resolves itself, or you realize how you can resolve it. And then you're not starting a whole conversation or making people defensive or sounding defensive. So it can be a great hack for us.
That would not work for me because I think I would get pulled into that other document, and I have to make sure that I stay attentive if things kind of hit a lull, or sometimes you're more interested in certain parts of a Zoom call than others. I don't want to start focusing on something else because then I would obviously not be paying attention to the call. But I can see that this is a good example that different people need different tools and different strategies because their habits are different and also their circumstances and their challenges are different. Some people need to be visibly engaged and then other people need to be less engaged or have a little bit of a safeguard before they react. So this is a great suggestion.
Gretchen, the next time that I am, let's say, getting notes on something and I'm feeling prickly, I will definitely use this hack. Okay, coming up, listeners share their work hacks, but first, this break.
Okay, we got so many suggestions from listeners about how to work happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. It was really fascinating to see what people suggested.
Yes, this one comes from Megan. She says, I'm writing to you briefly about my work tools, 2 iPads, a laptop, and my new Apple Pencil. 17 years ago, I lost the use of my right arm to a desmoid tumor, surgery, and radiotherapy. Lots more could be said about that, but it was awful. I have learned to write, type, drive, look after my babies, and so much more with one non-dominant hand. In February 2021, I returned to study and everything is different. So much research available online, so exciting and distracting. But none of the voice-to-text apps work for me. The reliance of online classes on typing is a real barrier to my creativity and participation, for example, with classmates in online forums. Before the Apple Pencil, I really struggled to draft and edit my work. But for me, handwriting to text is fantastic. It is fast and accurate, and with my laptop and second iPad open, I can draft and redraft by hand while I read and research. Erasing and reshaping the sentences in longhand before tapping twice, and presto, there they are in text, so much easier than typing, which causes pain and tension in my hand and shoulder. I am revising this on the laptop and realizing this is an adaptive technology. Over the years, working in offices, I fought for various technologies like talk to text and adaptations for vehicles, but I also spent a lot of energy minimizing my disability and its impact. I am so lucky I have a supportive husband who likes to give me gifts of technology and that we can afford such luxuries. I am grateful every day for my privilege, but I do also wish that I had received more support and money for life-enhancing tools and rehabilitation over the years. That said, I really, truly love my Apple Pencil, and I encourage everyone like me, raise your one arm in the air to try one if you can.
This is a great example of how technology can really make life easier for people, by allowing them to find their own way of doing something that works for them. So it's a great hack to know about. It's also a great just reminder to be open to new solutions.
Yes. Gretchen, a lot of people talked about the Pomodoro method, which we have also talked about on Happier in Hollywood.
Yes. Now, Wikipedia explains that the Pomodoro technique is a time management method that was developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s when he was in the university. And he used a kitchen timer to break work into intervals of 25 minutes, typically separated by short breaks, often 5 minutes. And this is known as the Pomodoro technique because that's the Italian word for tomato. And he used a tomato-shaped kitchen timer when he was a university student and came up with this way. And this is something that works for a lot of people.
Yes, Deborah said a Pomodoro app She said, it's like magic for helping me get started.
And Brandy said, a friend taught me to use YouTube videos on the Pomodoro method, work music for 25 minutes, break for 5 minutes to help me get started when the task list seems insurmountable. So helpful.
Yeah, so I love that. And I love the tomato-shaped timer. It's so whimsical.
I know that the whole giant strategy that everybody uses is just like it could be called the egg method because so many kitchen timers are in an egg shape, but he happened to have a tomato one. Okay, now we got a lot of ideas, so let's do a speed round, Elizabeth, where we just go through them very quickly so we can share a lot of ideas from a lot of listeners.
Yes, this comes from Isaac. He said, here's my office hack. It's a desktop storage space on a spinning base. Gretch, it's like a lazy Susan once again. Or maybe we should call it a super Susan because there's nothing lazy about it.
Exactly. Melanie says, if you work from home, turn off your laptop when you're finished for the day, pack it in its case, and put it in the closet until the next morning. That's using the strategy of inconvenience to help you stay off of your work laptop. So that's a great way of using one of the 21 strategies that I talk about in Better Than Before.
Brian says, take a series of whole and complete days without any devices. No excuses, no exceptions. It brings you back to the world with readiness and freshness. Anyone who says they can't do it is trying not to do it.
Elizabeth, I have never done this. Have you ever done this?
Not one time. Never. In fact, my family, if there's a place that seems like you won't be able to use a device, they exit off the list. We're not going there.
Maybe one day we'll try it. We can try it together one day.
That would be fun.
Emily writes lists. I know that sounds simple, but lists. I let myself know what I want to accomplish, and when it's done, then I feel better about being present with my family. So this is a great tool. It's classic, making a list.
Sylvia says, worst is first. This may work better for larks like me than night owls. Every day I look at the to-dos in my search of the most onerous task. Getting it done right away makes the rest of the day seem carefree by comparison. I think this works for a lot of people. I know I'd always rather get the hardest thing done first.
Absolutely. And you know, what I sometimes do is if there's something that's really taxing, I'll wait and I'll say like, okay, I'm going to do that in the morning and then first thing. And so it lets you time shift those things. But that's an interesting point about night people versus morning people. I would love to hear from night people to hear how do they do the worst is first. How do they think about it?
Yes. Anton says, I'd suggest the hack of a well-built out morning and evening routine. Win the morning, win the day. Strong, calibrated bookends of your day helps you to control the most important parts of your days, those parts of your days where other people won't have influence on it.
This is especially true for the morning. Mornings tend to be more within our control than later parts of the day, but it's also true maybe the end of your day is also up to you. I think that's a good idea, like control what you can control.
Yes.
Cindy says, I mark cords whenever I buy a new item that has a removable cord. Phones, laptops, weed whackers, drills, etc. If I mark them right away with a piece of tape for what that cord goes to, I can quickly find the correct cord. And I can clean out cords I no longer need. Well, this is huge because how many of us, when we're clearing clutter, are just faced with all of these bits and bobs and you think, well, I don't want to just get rid of them because I don't know what they go to, but I don't really have any way of figuring out what they do go to, so I better hang on to them, and then they just gather dust.
Yes, Gretchen, I have started doing this. I don't do it enough, but whenever I have a label, I'm so happy I do. Along with this, I've also started putting stickers on my charger so that I know which ones are mine versus Adam's and Jack's, and that's so helpful too. And it's nice to put a sticker. I was just writing on it, but that would rub off over time. So now I use stickers.
Well, I love stickers. We have a giant sticker collection, and so I love an excuse to use a sticker. I do that too. I do that with my AirPods as well because it does make life easier. That's a great idea. I think I write about this in Outer Order, Inner Calm, these ideas for helping you manage all the parts of technology. And here's one last idea,
Yes.
and this is a great idea to end on because I love this idea. Natalie writes, former HR manager here. I always recommend to my friends to start a brag file at every job. What goes into it is every piece of documentation that says how wonderful you are. Every single compliment, every note from a client saying how great you are, every performance review, both formal and informal, every email, thank you note, you get the idea. And yes, make a hard copy. So if you are called in for a performance review or put on a performance plan by your boss, you can bring out the physical evidence that says that someone at some point in time thinks you've done a good job. A brag file is also a nice keepsake of the work you've done over the years and a bit of a trip down memory lane, too.
I love that, Gretchen. Useful, sort of practically useful and more transcendent as well.
Well, and I think sometimes you're feeling low and it can be really reassuring. It's kind of the ta-da list. I mean, remind yourself of what you've done right, of the gratitude you've received, of appreciation. It really is a great idea. So let us know if you do try any of these hacks, tips, resources, strategies at home, how it has made a difference in your work. Let us know on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Drop us an email at podcast@GretchenRubin.com. Or as always, you can go to the show notes. This is happiercast.com/390. Very special episode 390 for everything related to this episode. And the resources for this week, they are work related, no surprise. If you want to do a productivity jumpstart. Now, productivity means different things to different people, but whatever it means for you, this month's content in the Happier app is designed to help you cultivate more of it with practical tips, spin the wheel challenges, and know yourself better prompts, all related to productivity. You can go to happiercast.com/productivity to learn more. And in episode 324, we highlighted the wisdom of teachers with some of the proverbs of the professions. In this season, a lot of people are thinking about going back to school. And I have created this great little PDF with all of the insights that we collected from teachers. So if you want to download that or share with a teacher in your life, you can go to GretchenRubin.com/resources under podcast resources. And Elizabeth, what are we reading?
I am listening to Troublemaker by Leah Remini.
And I am just about to start Babel 17 by Samuel R. Delaney. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Try some hacks to make your work life happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. Let us know what you tried and how it worked for you.
Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Cadence 13. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Instagram at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm at Liz Craft. Our email address is podcast@GretchenRubin.com.
And if you like the show, you know what to do. Rate it, review it, recommend it to a friend. Email them this episode if it's something you think that would be interesting to them.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Craft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward. So listen, I forgot. Yes, you've been to here in Montana. You've been to this place.
Yes, I love that I can picture it and know what you're doing. Before it was just this idea, amorphous notion of a place, but now I know what it looks like. So I'm jealous. It's so beautiful there.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for watching our podcast here on YouTube. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe right below the video. It really helps other people to discover the show. From the Onward Project.